Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make a Roblox thumbnail for free. In this video I'm going to be using 3D Viewer, Roblox Studio, and Photopea.com. So if you don't have Roblox Studio, make sure to download it. Okay, now we're in Roblox Studio. The first thing you want to do is open a classic base plate. Once you open the world, go to Home, Toolbox, search for Load Character Light, and make sure you're in Plugins. It should pop up with this. Make sure to install it. Now we have to load our character in. To do that, you want to go to Plugins, Load Character, and type out your username. I'm going to type out mine. Make sure to spawn R6 unless you have some sort of animation that makes you way smaller. Okay, now we have our character. To move it down to the base plate, since it's floating in the air, I'm going to go to Home, Move, and move the green arrow down. Now let's pose our character so we can have it in the thumbnail. To do that, you want to click the arrow next to your name. You want to go to head and you want to hold control and select all of your accessories and your head. This is to pose your head. After that, go to rotate and rotate your head however you want. I'm going to do about that much. Now I'm going to pose my left arm since I want it in the air. To do that, I'm going to rotate this blue thing all the way around and I'm going to move it a bit up like this. It's like a wave. Now I'm going to make the right arm also a little bit better. For that, I'm going to rotate and rotate it like that. Move and move it a bit. No, it was good where it was. And I'm going to move it a little bit to that part. So now we have our character. You can also pose your legs, but I don't think that's really necessary for this. If you do something you don't want and you want to reverse it, you can hold Control and press Z. Okay, once you've posed your character and you have it somewhat like this or however you want, you want to go and click on your name, right click, export selection, and save it somewhere on your desktop. After that, you can safely close out of Roblox Studio and search up File Explorer. Now open the file you just saved and open it with 3D Viewer. It should look like this. Now move your character however you want so it looks better. I'm going to move it a little bit to the left side so it gets a better angle, like around here. I'm going to use this lighting right here. Now to save it, you want to go to File, Export Image, Save as Type PNG, Size and Resolution 4K for the best quality, check Transparency, and uncheck Render Shadows since you don't want any shadows. Now click Export and save it to your desktop. Okay, so to make the profile picture, you want to open up Photopea.com and click a new project. After that, you want to make sure it's 1280 by 720. The DPI, leave it as default, and the background, set it to transparent. Make sure artboards is unchecked and click create. Now we have our canvas. To open our character, you want to go to File, Open in Place, and find your character. This is my character. It's really blank right now. So to make it better, you want to go to Google and Images in the top right and search for cartoon crosswalk. This is what I use in my thumbnails. I'm going to use this one. I've used it a few times. To save it, you want to right click on it, go to copy image, and go back to Photopea and paste it. It's really small, so to make it way bigger, you want to hold Control and T and hold Shift and drag it by the edges like this. You might see that it's really blurry, so you want to select it, go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and set it around like 5.6. That's good. And make sure you go to the right side and drag it under your avatar so it's a background. Now you have your avatar. To make it bigger, you want to hold Control T and make your avatar bigger, but make sure you hold Shift while doing it. I'm going to make my avatar take up like half of the canvas. And to zoom out your canvas, you want to hold Control and minus. I think this is pretty good. Now let's add a stroke to our character. To do that, you want to make sure you have your character selected and double click on the layer. Go to Drop Shadow, set the color to white, the opacity around 80, and the angle however you want. I'm going to make it right here. And also there's a preview right here if you want to see it. Now mess around with this however you want. Make sure you have it set to overlay. If you don't have it like that, it's not going to work. I'll set the opacity around 100 since I think it looks better. The size, I'll set it around here. Okay, I think this looks pretty good. Now to make our character pop out even more, you want to make sure you have your character selected. Go to Image, Adjustments, Brightness and Contrast, and mess around with this. I recommend having the contrast above the brightness so it looks more realistic. Like if it's right here, it's not going to look good at all. So make sure to mess around with it however you want. I think this looks pretty good. Okay, now it looks pretty blank. So let's add some text here. To do that, you want to click this T logo right here. And you want to change the font. For the font, you want to use Burbank Big. But if you don't have it, you want to load the font. You can just search it up on the internet and download it. Okay, I just loaded it in. Now let's use it. Okay, so to write something, you want to click anywhere and type something. I'm going to make a thumbnail for this video. And I'm going to call it how to. And if it's really small, you can later change the size by pressing Ctrl and T and holding Shift and making it bigger. I'm going to move my character and make it better. Make sure to not press enter and make separate words like this. Once you've made 1 or 2 words that are supposed to go one after another, you want to click on it, double click on the layer, and change it however you want. I'm going to change the color overlay to white, blend mode normal, and I'm going to add a stroke outside, the color black, and change it to my preferences. After that, you can just mess around however you want with it, and you can just copy my settings if you want. Now let's add an outer glow. To do that, you want to set the color to white and change it however you want. I think this is fine. Okay, now since we have like 1 or 2 words, we can just alt and drag like this. How to make a, and we alt and drag even more, thumbnail. Since it doesn't really fit, we can resize it by pressing Ctrl and T. It's like the 1000th time I've said that. Holding Shift and resizing it. Okay, now let's change the color of the thumbnail. To do that, you want to double click on it. To do that, you want to go to Gradient Overlay, click on this. You want to double click on this box. You want to make it yellow or whatever color you want, but I'm going to use yellow. Click OK. And the second box, the second color, I'm going to use orange for it. Make sure you press OK after. Now let's uncheck the color overlay and we should have it. I'm going to change the opacity. I'm going to change the opacity and mess with it. And to change the color of the text without using a color overlay, you can double click on the T icon next to the word you want. Go at the very top and click on that and change it to whatever color you want. Now I can change it more and make it look better. I think this looks pretty good. Now let's make the background look better. To do that, you want to make sure you have the background selected. Go to Image, Adjustments, Brightness and Contrast, and make the brightness however you want and just change it to your preferences. I think this looks pretty good. For some reason it's bugging out for me and it doesn't let me change the Gaussian blur, but if it would let me change it, I would. So this is the final product. Okay, now to export the thumbnail, you want to go to File, Export as PNG, format PNG, quality 100%, and save it. I hope this video helped you. If it did, make sure to like and subscribe for more.